All right. So, thank you all for being here with me today. I'm super excited. I wanted to, so I've done like mid-year check emails and I've done videos and so forth on them multiple times over the past few years because I really think it's so important for us to stop, right? Because we're often always running one thing to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. And then we find ourselves like, at the end of 3 months, at the end of 6 months, at the end of the year, oftentimes not creating what we really wanted to create, and then simultaneously um, creating stuff that we didn't want. And so I have been doing like goal curation for many, many years. Um, and so I usually do this in like an email kind of format where I'll send you all a bunch of questions, but I thought it would be super fun for us to kind of come together and do it together. So if we may have some people that are watching on Team Replay, but those of you that are here with me live, you'll just have a different experience because you'll be able to do it live in the energy and aura of each other. And then you can also share in the chat as well some things that are coming up for you. So I have a lot that I want to cover. We don't have the best lighting or anything here. My flat is tiny, and if I flip around to the other side, the big bright light that's in the windows will completely blind me out. So we are just being imperfect and taking imperfect action today. All right, so here is what I want to start with. So I want to start with where we are now. So it's June, right? So we have another whole half of the year to look at the goals and the dreams and the desires and the things that hopefully you all set in the beginning of the year. Maybe it was one simple goal, maybe it's 10 goals like I often have, but we want to use this time again to slow down, really look at where we are, and we're going to do this not from a place of punishment. So a lot of people will use set goals and then they use goals against themselves. And we're never ever here to use goals against ourselves or to use them in any way to punish ourselves. Because sometimes what happens is we will then go into an over hustle mode to try to make up for lost time. And we definitely don't want to do that. So where you are today, I don't want you to ever think that you are behind. Even if you set, like, let's say you set a goal to make $100,000 this year and you're at 20 and your brain's like, well, how the hell am I going to make up for it now? I don't want you to use that against yourself because you are not behind. You're still in progress. So that's why we're taking the time today to like slow down, think about it. And I want you to, and I'm going to be asking you a lot of different journaling questions. And ideally, I want you to write the questions down and then you will want to answer them for yourselves later in a maybe a more thoughtful way. But when I ask you these questions, I also want you to answer them for yourself, like in the moment, the thing that kind of just drops through. Because what I have also found is a lot of times we actually already have access to the answers that we need or that we want or we want to do. We've already had them, but they're like these little thought bubbles that are like floating around in air, and we're often like flipping them away. Like, I don't have time for that, or that's not for me, or yeah, I'm not thinking about that now. And we will push all this aside, and you will know that it is for you because it keeps dropping in. Okay. So you'll likely already have thoughts that are already like in your energetic field that have probably already been there for a little while. And then when I ask the prompts, one of them will drop in. So the one that drops in, I want you to write it down for yourself. And then of course, afterwards, go back. And I'm a fan of like getting a hot cup of coffee or a cup of tea, lighting a candle, be in a quiet space, and then journaling on what comes up for you. Okay, so if we are starting from a place where we are not behind and we are in progress, let's look back before we move forward. All right. So the first question I'm going to ask you is, what is actually working in your business right now? What's working in your business right now? And that answer may be different, and it will be different for everyone that's on here. So for some of you, it might be a marketing strategy. For some of you, it might be a service that you're offering, or a shift in pricing, or how you're sticking to your schedule, or how you're keeping your promises to yourself. Or maybe you're in one of my paid programs, and that's like something that is supporting you and it's working for you in your business right now. So what is actually working in my business right now? So the next question I'm going to ask is, what have I created already this year that I want to acknowledge? What have I created already this year that I want to acknowledge? So I'll say, like, for me, sometimes my brain is a human brain, and oftentimes my brain likes to see the things that I have not done yet, and I have to consciously direct it to see what I have done so that I can sit in that energy of what I have done. So when I was thinking the other day, I'm like, oh my God, it's halfway through the year. There's so much I want to do, blah, blah, blah. And then when I was like taking stock, right? It's like taking stock of the pantry. What have we got? And what are we running out of, right? So I'm taking stock in what I've done, and I'm like, oh my God. So I've ran two um, live courses of Quick Start. I had a gathering and like a networking event at my condo in Philadelphia. I had 100K live at my house for 2 days. It's our 100K club members, and curated that whole experience for them. I had a VIP day with a client. I've opened enrollment for Fully Booked Business Club, I think twice. I think it was twice this year. I have created new content, new frameworks, coached in my containers, have one-to-one coaching clients, right? And there's so much that I've already done, even though my brain wants to see, oh, but we haven't done these 18 things over here yet, right? I created a Voxer channel for my community, for my paid community, which I haven't, I've been on sabbatical since I've been in Paris, just because the time zone is so different. Like all of y'all, it's like 10 o'clock in the morning, and for me, it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm ready to go to dinner, and you guys are just getting your day started. I created some new systems in the back end of my business. So I would love for you all to take a hot second right now and just put in the chat, what's one thing that you're proud of that you have created so far this year? Just go ahead and pop it in the chat, and I'll just read some of them off. Lisa said social media posts. Okay. Lamar said a website. Vicky, a website and Facebook page. Marjana, a presentation. Oops, you guys all started moving too fast. Okay, let me pop over here now. Robin, expos and talking to more potential clients. Leela, website and first ad. Liz, officially started, no more wishing to start. Well done. Michelle, creating an easy to follow system for my meal prep. Pauletta started the LLC website, card flyers, socials, etc. Tara finally started my business in April, which has been successful from the get-go. Way to go, Tara. Okay, Colleen's at work. Shirley signed up for Fully Booked. Suzanne, business card and flyers, go into networking groups. Melanie outlined my ebook. Colleen, website coming this week. Awesome. Congratulations, y'all. Y'all are doing some heavy lifting. All right. So now we're in the energy of, damn, I can do this thing. I am doing hard things. I've accomplished things. I've put things on my list and I have checked them off, right? So now we're just like in the energy of like a good higher vibration. So we always start with what's working so that we're in a higher vibration of our experience, okay? Because then from there, then we're going to shift and we're going to start looking at what is not working, okay? So next question is what's currently not working in my business right now? And there may be one answer, there may be 10. It depends on where you are in your realm of your business, but I want you to write those down. What is currently not working in my business right now? And again, these answers will look different. So an answer might be my revenue, or my answer might be, for example, somebody said that they posted on social media, right? So maybe that's working. They got the posts out, but maybe those posts aren't converting into paying clients. So it's working, as in got it done, but it's not working because it's not actually bringing clients in the door, right? Maybe it's working that you got your LLC set up, but maybe it's not working because you don't have any paying clients yet. So we want to celebrate what we have done, but then we also need to be very, very crystal clear on what is not working. And again, depending on where you are in your business trajectory, that may look different. So I remember many, many years ago, something that started not working for me was I had gotten really good at my marketing and I was getting a lot of calls and requests to come in. Even team in place, I mean, all of that was already dialed in, but it was still taking me like 2 to 3 days to get a new client onboarded because I had gaps in my processes. So again, it's going to look very different based on where you are in your business. Or maybe what's not working is that specific helper that you hired. Or maybe what's not working is the website domain that you're using. I mean, I'm literally making crap up as I'm sitting here, but maybe what's not working is your bookkeeper. You have a bookkeeper, but you're always like having to chase them instead of them being in authority and being in their own self-leadership to deliver on time what they promised they would deliver to you. So what is currently not working in your business? And then everybody can go ahead and drop one of those down in the chat also. Melanie, accountability. All right. Turning potentials into actual buyers. Only one client so far. Time management to work on the business. Perfect. These are so good. And see how they're so different? They're so different and they're so unique for each of you. And I have different ones also. Let's see, receiving payments all over the place at different times cause cash payments. Where'd you all go? Let's see. My revenue and obtaining actual clients. Just starting, so in the advertising process. Income. Boundaries between business and family. Oh, that's a good one. Time management. No clients yet. Movement. I have been slow to step out and make things happen. Yeah, so hopefully some of the other questions that I ask you today are going to kind of like get right into the nitty gritty. Colleen, time management. Yeah. Lori, I started my business last year on my birthday, June 27th, with my one client. I'll be celebrating 1 year anniversary. I have some pop-in clients throughout the year, but their pay was not meeting my preferred pay rate. Yeah. So it's like I'm getting some clients, but they're not the right fit. Uh, Liz, continue referral contacts. Okay. So I'm guessing maybe Liz that what's not working is you're not continuing to reach out to referral contacts, or you are and it's not working. So you want to be really clear on that too. I also want to lovingly uh, adjust those of you that say time management. We like to use time management as a global thing that is outside of ourselves. Okay. And the reality is when there's usually a time management issue, it's usually a us not using our time issue. It's not time management. It's just us using our time. And I know somebody will be like, well, yeah, that's what time management is, but it's kind of not. It's like, do you even have business hours? Whether you're in your business 5 days a week because you're currently not working a job, or maybe you recently left your full-time job to go all in on your business, or you are still working a full-time job and you have 4 hours a week, or you're working a part-time job and you've got 10 hours a week. It's not about like managing the time. It's being realistic about, okay, this is the time that I have, and am I holding myself accountable to use the time that I have proactively to consciously be creating results in the time that I have versus sitting there saying, I don't know what to do. That is usually the deeper issue. So even if you're working full time and you're like, if you have not defined what your business hours are, you're going to keep being in this cycle, and you can spend the next 6 months, you can spend the next 3 years saying it's a time management issue versus just being like, yeah, actually, I don't actually have business hours. So I want you to treat your business as if you are responsible for clocking in and clocking out. So, do you have business hours? Like right now in Paris, I barely have business hours because the time zone difference is chaotic. But even being here in Paris, I knew that I wanted to balance my freedom, right? Even if I wasn't fully on vacation, like starting tomorrow, I'm officially on vacation. After tomorrow, I'm officially on vacation because my husband is flying over and we're spending 10 days together before we fly back. So I am actually on vacation versus when I've been here for the past 4 weeks. Some days I worked, some days I wandered, some days I was a tourist, some days I sat around and just bopped around from cafe to cafe with my dog. But what I did proactively before I left Pennsylvania is I was worried. I was worried that I was either A, going to avoid work altogether, which is actually a lie. That wasn't actually my worry. I'm lying to you all. Actually, my real worry was that I was going to get here and I was going to keep working and overwork because I do love what I do so much. And then I will find myself, I was like, oh my God, I'm never going to leave the flat. I'm just going to be working all day and I'm just moving my business to another building. I'm terrified of that. And I was actually really terrified of that to the point that I was like, okay, if I were creating business hours for myself, what will that look like when I am in Paris? And so I decided, and there was no perfection here. There was no like exact right working hours. I said, you know what? I'm going to work 12 days while I'm there in Paris. And I looked at my calendar and I carved out what days were working days. So for example, today I have one-on-one clients today. I had this work. So when I put the workshop on, I was like, I'm going to put it on a day that I'm already working. And then I will finish doing actual work today as well. So today is a work day for me. So Karen says, yes, I have business hours. Awesome. So then we have business hours, and then are we using those business hours to do business? and not be distracted by other people's problems. So OPP, I've used that term for over a decade now. It's like other people's problems. So, and other people's problems will look different based on your life, right? Other people's problems could be the kids banging on the door asking you where the next snack is. I used to have that problem. Now they're grown. OPP could be a parent or sibling or somebody who's like needs your attention right now, when in reality they don't. OPP could be you're surfing the internet and you're going down the rabbit hole of social media and you're getting involved in the entire world's problems, right? So are you using those business hours? So I wanted to mention that because a lot of you had the issue with time management. So, okay. The next question is, what's something I've been avoiding, ignoring, or not committing to, but know I need to look at? So what's something I've been avoiding, needing to do, not doing, but know I need to look at? So this is likely one of those things where an answer might be up here, like literally in a thought bubble that just like drops in for you. Jeanette, getting off of my planning, posting, computer work, and getting out there more. Yes, girl, let me tell you, for sure. Because planning and posting is not usually the fastest path. Colleen, more networking opportunities, spending more time on my learning modules. Yeah. So then we need to get clear on what that actually is for you, because then we can't ever measure it. Right. So for example, if I were to say, for example, I'll give you a truthful share. My YouTube videos. I had a goal at the beginning of the year. I had a goal last year to do, I think, 50 new YouTube videos. I think I ended up doing, I don't know, 40, maybe something like that. So I did not hit my goal. If my goal was to do more YouTube videos, I wouldn't have been able to actually measure that. So a lot of times we talk about doing more, being more visible. But how do you prove that you're being more visible? Getting more clients. Well, how many clients? And do you actually need 10 or do you need 2? So getting really clear, this is like goal setting 101. You have to have something that is just, it's a measurable thing, because that will help you know if you're on track or not. Michelle, reviewing my contracts and business policies. Exactly. Right. So then we get review my contracts and business policies. Do I have time carved out to do that? And then all of you who are inside Fully Booked Business Club, 100K Club, and anybody who has purchased the contract bundle, we are doing that in real time in August. I forget the exact date, but we're doing that together in August because it will be during Mercury in retrograde, and it is a great time to relook at contracts. Doesn't mean you have to wait till then, but I'm just saying we're going to do that. Creating structure, creating business hours, clear business space, study daily. Yeah, and maybe you don't have time to study daily. Maybe you have time to study one day a week for 2 hours. You know, it doesn't have to look like everybody else's, is what I want to say. Pauletta, nail down my onboarding SOP, more coffee dates, more dedicated business hours. Yeah, so again, we're using more, right? So let's replace anything that we're saying more about, and I want you to actually give me a number. You don't have to give that to me now, but do that for yourself when we're done so that you are much clearer. So last year, I told you I set the goal to do 50 videos. I did like 40. This year, I said that I didn't set my number. And guess what? I've been a little loosey-goosey. And then I was in the process of hiring somebody. Somebody said accountability earlier. I was in the beginning of like literally getting ready to hire somebody that I could map out and record all of my videos for the entire like year in like a day. And I was afraid to spend the money. And then I talked myself like into spending the money. And then that person's availability and my availability didn't mesh. So then what happened? Didn't hire the person to do the videos, left for vacation, brought all my stuff, got here. I'm like, this is not the place I want to be recording my videos. So now I haven't recorded any new ones. And now what's the thing that I need to do? Hire somebody to sit down with me so I can just crank them out because I need the accountability. Um, okay, Monica said completing the modules, taking the info, and acting on each one. Awesome. All right, next question. Um, okay, I already asked you that question. So what's something I've been avoiding? Got it. Okay, so sometimes we also feel stuck, not because we're not doing enough, but we're still using maybe strategies that either A, don't work, B, don't work anymore. So I want you to think about, is there a strategy that I've been using that doesn't work or that doesn't work anymore? If it's not necessarily that you're not doing enough. Or the flip to that is maybe your marketing and what you're doing is you're just repeating your own comfort zone. So I want you to ask yourself that question. Like in my marketing, am I just repeating my own comfort zone? In the way I lead my team, am I just repeating my own comfort zone? The way I network, am I just repeating my own comfort zone? The way I use social media, am I just repeating my own comfort zone? I would love to know that. Where are you maybe repeating your own comfort zone? Because what happens is like we will stretch ourselves and we'll do hard things, but then that hard thing then becomes a new part of your comfort zone. And then to grow after that is you have to then leave the comfort zone again. But we'll stay in the, oh, well, I spent so time learning this. I don't want to go over there now. And a lot of times what we do is we hold ourselves back from going there now because we want to have evidence slash proof that it's going to work before we do it. Tara, a comfort zone. So a comfort zone could be, for example, I'll give you a good one that I've seen one of our fully booked members do. In fully booked, we talk about networking, and I have oh, not literally. Okay. I'm gonna say it in.
I just mean that with everything I do, my whole life, the business, whatever else, I things change so rapidly all the time that I never have any sort of comfort zone
Mhm.
ever. So
I am I'm going to poke at that a little bit for you.
go for it. I challenge you.
Yeah, no, I'm going to, and I'm not going to coach you right now on this, but I am going to poke at that for you because I will tell you, I have lived a life where I'm constantly evolving, constantly changing, and I am always seeing the evolution of what I'm doing, the growth, the change, the willingness to do this, to do that. I've done things 99% of people will never do in their business. But yet, I do know there are areas where I'm still sitting in my own comfort zone. So that comfort zone doesn't have to be what you're willing to do. That comfort zone might be what you're not willing to do. The comfort zone might be what you're doing that you need to stop doing. The comfort zone may be not having a boundary around a specific thing or person or place um, or even what's the word I'm looking for? We'll just leave it at that. A comfort zone could be I stretch myself all the time over here, but I'm not willing to pay for XYZ over here. So I'm going to lovingly poke at that for you, and I want you to really think about where is there's still a comfort zone that you're hiding behind. And then what we often do is, again, if you're anything like me, where you're always busting through comfort zones, is that becomes a blind spot because you think that you're always busting through all of it, that you don't actually see the little spot that's over here, that's the one little thing that's hiding. So you can accept that or not, but I know for me, I'm always, and when I've been coached, I've even been coached about like, what are you? And I'm like, yeah, oh, well, okay. Okay. Instead of doing, I'm just making this up, but instead of doing five one-on-one clients, I'll push myself to do six. But that's not living to my edge. But there is an edge that you have not lived to yet, and that is on the border of your comfort zone. All right. So for the rest of you, what is one of those comfort zones? Michelle, the way I accept payments and contracts. Exactly. You've probably been doing it a certain way. You're comfortable doing it that way. You hate the idea of changing it. Um, Charlie, being so strict in my planning that I become stagnant. Exactly. Right? Because the comfort zone is the planning. A lot of us love to plan. We'll sit there and we'll plan our faces off, and then we will perfect the plan, and we will rewrite the plan, and then we will make sure that it is so beautiful. But then we don't actually do it. So the comfort zone is the plan. The outside the comfort zone is activating the plan. Monica, avoiding social media posts. Yeah, and what about it? What about it is specific about the social media posts? Like, what are you afraid to say? And I'm actually going to bring that up a little bit. I have some more prompts that'll help maybe wiggle that out for you too. How do I work around my regular job hours to attend networking events? Hold that answer. I just got a patient back. Kwana's trying to hop on in between patients. Pauletta, as an extroverted former salesperson, I'm loving getting out in the house for several networking events each week to give me energy. I'm working to not go into my sales mode, but pace myself with the coffee dates and building relationships. I hear myself saying, Pauletta, stop talking. Yeah, so maybe that's your edge, is the stop talking, and you just continue to talk. All right, let's move on. Okay, so here are some reasons why you might be feeling stuck. So you might be showing up. So a lot of you are definitely showing up, but only in ways that feel comfortable. So we just talked about that. Oh, I started to say it, and then that's when Tara, you hopped on. I started to say I have a client who networking felt very uncomfortable for her. So since networking was uncomfortable, she tried to like dance around it and do all the other things just to avoid the networking. So there's the website, the flyers, the LLC, the social media posts, the learning how to use Instagram, the hashtag classes, the all these things, right? Because all of those, believe it or not, even though those are hard things that maybe most other people wouldn't do, to that person, those are actually kind of in their comfort zone, even though they may feel a little edgy, but we're avoiding the thing which was the networking. Fast forward, she started networking, but she's networking. Her comfort zone is now networking online. But the comfort zone is actually the edges she needs to push beyond is the networking in person. Because now networking online feels safe. Like I can do that. I can hide behind my camera. I can turn my camera off. I can show up only when I want to. I will only talk to people that I want to. I won't really have anybody ask me questions that I might feel unprepared for, right? But the networking in person is that next level of comfort zone. So that's why I wanted to, that was the story that I started to bring it back to. Perfectionist that leads to procrastination. Yeah. So comfort zone is being perfect and procrastinating. That's your comfort zone. Doing it like the thing that's outside your comfort zone is willing to just put it out there and being not perfect. Like right now, I am in the worst lighting right now. It is terrible. I don't care because what I have to say is more important than the lighting. The services that you offer are more important than your own perfection. All right. Bum, bum, bum. Okay, the next one is you want to market, but you're not sure what to say or how to say it. So instead, what you do is you kind of don't. So some of you want to market, you want to be brave, you want to have the clients, you want to have the results of the marketing, but you're just not sure what to say or how to say it. So then you just hold yourself back. I still do this today, still. And if I don't call it out to myself, I'll just keep running in that same pattern because I'm not addressing it. You may also feel stuck because you've been doing it alone. And when no one's reflecting things back to you, everything can either feel, I almost want to say easier, because when you're in your own container, there's nobody to point out to you what might not be working. Or there's no one reflecting back to you what you think everything really feels heavier than it really has to be. And then the other reason why you might feel stuck is you may be doing the work. You might be doing the work. You're checking the list. You're doing all the things right, all the right things. But you're doing them from an energy of pressure, survival, or proving. Pressure, survival, or proving. I had somebody tell me one time that their big why in their business was to prove it to her old boss. And that's not the energy that you want to run your business to. You don't want to be marketing to clients to bring them in and attract them because you're secretly pissed off at your old boss or your eighth grade teacher who told you you suck. That's not how we build a business. That's not how we attract. So I'd love to know of those three things, have you done your work? And by work, I mean whether you're marketing or you're scheduling or you're trying to get clients or even increasing prices. Sometimes people increase their rates because they feel pressure of survival. Like if they don't increase their rates, they're not bringing in enough money. So they'll increase their rates to avoid the pressure that they're feeling of not having enough money coming in. Because this one client that they have, they'll up the rates with that one client to bring in more revenue. But in reality, what they're doing is they're pushing that client away because they're taking that action from their own pressure. So when we take action, the energy by which we take action from is energetically felt by our potential clients and those around us. So of those three, and there are a lot of other ones, right? What one might you feel like you have done or maybe even still be feeling like you're doing it now? Are you doing your work from pressure, from survival, from proving? Which do you think might be the most relevant for you? I know when I first started my business, it was definitely from survival. Everything I did. I'm going to do this to get a client. I'm going to do that to get a client. I'm going to do this to get a client. And then we joke around that just like dogs smell fear, potential clients smell, right? Smell our survival. Exactly. Yep, Melanie, you said survival. Latanya, survival, survival. Yep. Michelle, it takes me forever to do a Facebook post because I always feel my posts aren't good enough. My bio, always trying to prove myself. Yeah, exactly. So you're trying to prove yourself with the perfect words. You're trying to prove yourself with the perfect bio. And in reality, the bio is not going to get you clients. The bio is really just to help people understand who you are as a human being. Robin, up until recently, doing it all alone. Janet, I feel the pressure because I need the income. Yes, yes. I mean, to just be willing to call that out is so important because without calling it out, we just end up repeating the cycle by which we've been doing it. Pressure and survival. Whoop, whoop, moved real fast because I was laid off and need the income. Yeah. So when we're trying to build a business from need, imagine, like I used to joke around, like you have the thing that you're worried about the most, you are wearing it on your chest and you're wearing it on your forehead, right? So for example, I was laid off and I need the money, right? So it's like you have the ticker tape with the little lights that go across like this, the advertisement-y things, right? And you're wearing a big sign on your chest. And when you go, and even if you're talking to a stranger about your business or you're networking and you're talking about your business or you're having a potential sales call and you're talking about your business, just think you are wearing that sign on your chest and across your forehead that says, hey, by the way, I was laid off and I really need the income. Because that's the energy. You don't mean to do it. I'm not saying that you mean to do this. Of course you don't. You started a business to help people. I'm certain of that. And you also have this piece that is true to your human experience. And you're bringing that with you. It just seems to be, it's like hidden in the shadows. And oftentimes we don't realize it. So just the awareness of calling it out now makes you aware. So now you can literally ask yourself, like, am I saying this because I feel like I have to have income, or am I saying this because I truly want to help someone? Lamar proving. Tara, to help my community and have time to take care of my daughter, myself, and my family, balance and support for all. Yeah, so you're taking with you, and to me, that sounds very pressured to have a balance and support for all. That feels like it's going to be underlying with pressure because it has to be balanced and it needs to be supported for my daughter, myself, my family, my team, my community, the people I help, all of that. So sometimes what happens when we are in like this need for balance, and I don't believe there is always a unified 50-50 balance. I believe sometimes we are heavier on, let's say, taking care of a child. Other times we are heavier and are required, and like I'm in perimenopause, right? So taking care of myself requires more time now than it did 10 years ago. Taking care of a client, taking care of your business, pouring, because we all have, a certain amount of love and energy to pour out. And sometimes that's just going to shift. So being in a belief that it's always going to be equally balanced can be troublesome, especially if we have that expectation on ourselves. Lisa, pressure and survival as just starting and have a timeline to secure clients. Yeah, exactly. So imagine I'm a potential client and you're meeting me and you're talking to me about your services and I'm not really sure, right? And then you're like, you've got this big sign across your chest. It's literally like, hey, by the way, I need you to be my client because I'm on a timeline and I have got to secure some clients. I know it sounds so cheesy, but that's literally the aura that we're accidentally filtering out into the world, whether it's for clients, money, team. How many of you are like, I'm always overwhelmed? It's because you're overwhelmed inside. Putting pressure on myself to get clients. However, I try to change my thoughts to be patient and the reason for doing this. Yes. So we have to like just again, that awareness. It's like, yes, sometimes I find myself feeling the pressure. And then like, what is the truth between both stories? So for you, Suzanne, that would be really fun to think about. What is the truth between my business wants to generate revenue, right? I think of it sometimes as the business needs to generate revenue versus I have to get paying clients because I don't have to get anything, but the business does need revenue to come in to stay open, right? But the energetics behind that is very different. So, yes, you want income to come in to support the business, and simultaneously, you're really doing it because you want to help others. So then when we're doing the marketing and all of the things that we're doing and we're saying comes from the place of desire to help versus coming from this place of need, but still recognizing the bills have to be paid. Right? There's that like we don't avoid the facts. The facts are bills need to be paid, but am I marketing and am I trying to sell from the place of being paid or from the place of helping, offering, giving value, connecting with other human beings. Okay, so that leads us right into what energy are you marketing from? So again, sometimes we are showing up, but the energy underneath it is perfectionism, it's people pleasing, it's fear, and that energy repels the very people we're trying to attract. So somebody said earlier, this perfectionism, right? Your perfectionism, you are losing potential clients in your time spent on trying to be perfect. So a couple prompts and questions. When I show up to market, what's the vibe I'm giving off? When I'm showing up to market, what's the vibe I'm giving off? And sometimes we think we know what the vibe is, but if we, like from our brain, yes, I want to help people. But if we are willing to look at it and we're willing to go deeper down underneath, yes, we want to help people, but usually it's not at the expense of something or um, it's with a guarantee of return. So a lot of people will talk about marketing and like I had mentioned it earlier, it's like you won't do something unless you have proof or you think you have proof that it's quote unquote going to work. Like, I don't want to put all this time and energy into X if it's not going to work. And in that case, that is actually the energy. Even though you want to help people, but you don't want to do it in case it doesn't work, the reality is the energy underneath is I don't believe it's going to work. And I'm only willing to do it if I'm getting paid. And again, there is a fine line between needing the business to be paid. I think you nailed why I'm overselling. Need for income after being laid off. Yeah, that's probably it, Pauletta. I had somebody once before, I forget who it was. There was somebody in one of the programs. It's exactly what happened to her. She, she was actually in fully booked. and she was working full time when she joined Fully Booked. And then she started to get clients and she went to part time. But there was always this, and then her original job that she had before she went part time was a salesperson for another company. So she always, and then there are pressures from the company to hit certain benchmarks. And so when she was out there marketing, she was secretly the aura that she was doing her marketing from underneath was from the belief system that she had to hit certain benchmarks and hit certain sales numbers to make the boss happy. But for her business, it was doing the opposite. It was actually deflecting clients, being overzealous. Yeah. I always think that what my ROI on this method of marketing is. Yeah. So what if we looked at and you all have heard me talk about the like tipping point, right? Like when the kids are little and I would take them to the water park and there was the big, fake wooden bucket at the top and the water would be filling in, filling in, filling in, filling in, and then you'd start to see it all of a sudden it would start to wobble when it got heavy, and then it would tip over and all the water would fall out. So I often talk about that as our job as marketers is to just keep pouring the water into the bucket. And sometimes what that looks like, and specific to what you're saying, Robin, is let's just throw in the website and the this and the that and the that, and it's all mixed together. It's the energy of action, not the energy of overaction from a place of need, not from a place of hustle of overaction, because then when we overaction and we over hustle to get the result, what happens is when we get there, we can't take the foot off the gas. And then it'll never be sustainable because what you built from hustle versus from grounded, consistent action that pays out later. So, but there is often something that we can sense, that we can feel that maybe this isn't really working. Maybe it's okay that I put this down. So, for example, last year, I had sent out an email. It was in August where I said that I was going on a sabbatical, and my sabbatical was on Instagram. And so I asked everybody in that newsletter that week, like, if you could take a sabbatical from something in your business, what would it be? And the sabbatical that you want to take from your business is usually something that is just not bringing you any enjoyment or fulfillment at all. And for me, it was Instagram. I'm like, I do not give two flying flips what the algorithms on Instagram are doing. I am not doing reels. I'm not pointing to fucking air bubbles. Excuse me, my French here. Hopefully there's no kids around. But that is not going to be me. That's not how I want to run my business. I would rather not get paid, not to get a client, than to do that. I would never do a DM strategy. It is just not in alignment with my aura. Not in alignment at all. I would rather have to go back and get a job than to institute a DM strategy because it's just not in alignment with me. So if you were to take a sabbatical from something in your business, and sometimes it's a marketing tactic, sometimes it's a team member, sometimes it's the way you're doing something, sometimes it is a service that you're offering. What would you, as we go into the second half of this year, take a sabbatical from? So I haven't been back to Instagram. I'm like half-ass on there. I could care less. Now that might change in the future. The beautiful thing is we are evolving creatures. A year ago, I was like, I am so done with it. It just makes me gag every time I'm over there. I just don't want to be there. I used to have people years ago. I was in so many different marketing and groups and so forth. Like, and it's so funny because like the person who's selling social media is like, you have to be on social media. Back in the day, I quote unquote should have been on about 10 different social media platforms that have gone, died, and been buried already. But I was told and I was promised, no, this is the one. You gotta be on Periscope. You gotta do Vines. You've gotta do, what was the other one that was out like 4 years ago where it was all verbal, right? Like just all these things. And my aura was like, no, not for me. There's a difference between your body being like, ooh, I'm a little nervous to do this, and just being like, no, that one's not for me, and being okay with that. What was the other one I was told I had to be on? Pinterest. You've got to be on Pinterest. I'm like, look, I am not spending time on Pinterest. Sorry. I don't even like being on Pinterest because anytime I see something that I like and I go to click on it, it's never what I actually want to see. It's just pictures. It might be different now, but let's see, Karen said, I'm changing careers, so it's difficult to put myself out there as a new person in business. The person I am now is more authentic than my long previous career. So I believe it's not feeling I can be successful. Of course. So then, right, that's the hidden line that you're running your business from is I had a good career, but I don't know if I can be successful at this. So then when you think that, you will actually attract that. So then no matter what actions you take, whether it's networking, social media, speaking, putting up a website, if you fear and feel like you won't be successful at it, self-fulfilling prophecies, right? When we think it's not going to work, it doesn't work. All right. So I have a few more to go through. I'm almost done. So if you have to hop, I did say this was going to be an hour. But I love the communication with all of you and the feedback. So if you can hang on for an extra like 15 minutes, that'd be great. But if you gotta hop, I completely understand. Okay. So where was I? What energy am I marketing from? What's the vibe? Okay, this is going to help answer for a lot of you. What do I think needs to be perfect before I let myself show up more boldly? What do I think needs to be perfect before I let myself show up more boldly? And I'm going to add something to that too that I didn't have originally. What do I think needs to be finished before I let myself show up more boldly? Because some of you are like, I want to be bold, but I have to finish the website first. I want to be bold, but I have to finish the flyer first. I want to be bold and do X, but I feel like I have to do this first. So, what do I think needs to be perfect before I let myself show up more boldly? Or what do I think needs to be completed before I let myself show up more boldly? The next question, and we kind of already talked about this, but I'm just going to ask the question because I had it here in my notes. Am I marketing from clarity and love or from fear and pressure? Am I marketing from clarity and love or from fear and pressure? And I'd like to say that it might be even a combo. Like you might be marketing from clarity and who you want to help, but you're marketing from fear or pressure to make the money, right? So I want you to really like get into that for yourself. Where my notes goes. Um, Monica said, this is my blocker, finished and completed. Yep. Yep. Awesome. Tara, you don't need help with anything. You're letting go of perfectionist side. Awesome. Um, Janet, what I'm going to say, elevator speech before I attend more networking events. Yeah, just go be a human. Janet, literally, just go be a human. And there is no perfect elevator pitch. I know that marketers out there want to tell you that there is. It is a lie. There is no perfect elevator pitch. There are ways that you can say things that intrigue people and make people want to know more, but there is no perfect elevator pitch. Definitely marketing from love, but sometimes I don't feel clear. Yeah, exactly, right? So it's like sometimes we have both sides of us going there. So this is often what is the difference between marketing that feels heavy versus marketing that connects. Marketing that feels heavy versus marketing that connects. So I would love to know real quick in the chat, what is what did I want to ask you? What do you think needs to be perfect before you let yourself show up more boldly? So I know Janet said the elevator pitch. Yep. Marjana. Yep. Admit I'm not perfect and move on. Guess, girl. Nobody's waiting for your perfect. No, I want you to all write this down for yourselves. No one is waiting to buy my perfection. People are just waiting for my help. Okay? Nobody is waiting to buy my perfection. They're just waiting for my help. So your perfection is literally standing in the way, right? Your perfection is standing right in the way between you and your client. So what do you think is standing in the way between you and your client? Perfection, marketing knowledge, pricing, me. Yep. So get specific about that, right? Like we can't solve the me problem. You are the me, Melanie. You're the me. Me is coming with you no matter what. So what is it specifically that is between you and your clients? You know it's you, which is step one in the realization, but then what is the next part to that? So I would definitely dig into that a little bit more. Um, letting doubt creep in. Yeah. Yeah, that's just doubt's always going to be there. No matter what, you can be making $1 million a year and doubt's still going to creep in. Doubt is just part of the formula. So when we remind ourselves that doubt is always part of the formula, then it's easier to just keep going. Worrying about being overwhelmed with too many clients and having to hire already, which I'm not ready for. Right, right. So Tara, that's such a good a realization, because what happens is sometimes what happens is we future cast, like we always want to future cast, but future cast from a place of being in the good energy of having what we want, right? So for you, it may be like, I have clients and I'm taking care of my daughter and I'm taking care of myself in the best balance that's available to me. And I'll figure out the rest, right? Versus like when we future cast to fear, right? Some of you literally won't market because you're literally afraid of, what if I actually get a client? I don't know what to do. I don't know how to charge. I don't know how to get paid. I don't know how to take payment, right? So you secretly, so we future cast to some nebulous possibility. And then what happens is that future casting actually almost like goes back in time, but in time is actually the now and is impacting what we're doing in the now. It's so fascinating. I actually did this for myself the other day. I was thinking about a goal that I've had for a while, and it's not here yet. And so I'm like, and I originally approached the goal and solving the goal from what else I needed to do. And yeah, there are things that I have to do or shift or change or what, right? Of course, we're always in refinement of those things. But then I found an underlying thought and fear of what would happen when I got there. And for a lot of people, it's like getting there and like you said, Tara, worrying, like, do I have to take time from my family to take care of, we'll just say 10 clients, right? Again, we're just making up like scenarios, but I'm worried that when I get there, I won't be um, as focused at home. I'm worried when I get there, I'll think I'm better than I am. I'm afraid when I get there, and I'm afraid when I get there, I won't know how to charge people. I'm afraid when I get there, I won't know if I can actually help that person or not. And so for me, I found a thought that it was like when I get there, I'm afraid of this. And I was like, oh shit. I think I finally got to it. And it's been a while. I've thought it was all these other things over here. It wasn't. It was something so deep that I've had to keep going back and asking the question over and over and over again and poke at it in different ways, which is easier for me because I am a coach and I self-coach all the time. And I have a coach. So I'm always attacking um, my issues from different angles. So don't use future casting to prevent us from movement in today. All right. So I think that gets us through everything. Boop, 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 boop. Yep. All right. So that is everything that I wanted to share in today's workshop. And then I did want to invite some of you, if you want. This is not a big launch. It's totally laid back. As part of my coaching group, I'm doing a 6-part summer series. It's running over 10 weeks, and it's the Get More Clients summer series. And I'm going to be going through and teaching if I was starting over from scratch, what I would do now, knowing what I know now, eliminating things that don't work and saving myself time and energy. And I always think that summer is a great time for us to work through marketing because we want to be working through marketing now to have the clients in like 3 to 6 months from now. So what you're doing or not doing right now is going to show up as a result in your business 3 to 6 months from now. So sometimes we're like, oh my God, I had this most amazing month. And I'm like, well, what did you do? And you're like, I don't even know. I'm like, yeah, you got to go back and look at what were you doing 3 months to 6 months before having this really amazing month? What did you shift? What did you change? What did you double down on? What thought did you change? What belief did you change? What aura did you show up to differently? And so what you are doing and not doing now will show up in your result line 3 to 6 months from now. So this is not a hard pitch at all. It's literally an invitation because I'm already doing this with my community, with my fully booked business club, my 100K club. We're already going to be doing this, that I'm allowing 10, maybe 15 people tops to come in and do it with us. So if that is you, let me know in the comments because I am doing this without a lot of perfection. And my VA is trying to put together a simple page so that you can pay right there. And so this is completely not perfect, right? But this is just me inviting anybody who wants to come and do this um, with us during the summer. So we're going to kick off the week of July 7th, and it's going to run through September. I think it's 12th is that Friday. So it's going to be 10 weeks, and we're going to have live work for six times. So it's a six-part series, and it's going to be part implementation, part coaching, part doing it together. And then in addition to that, so I'm pricing it at $9.97, but there's an early bird price at just $4.97. So half the cost, $4.97. You can pay from now till June 29th. You have for the early bird, but just know that once I have that first 10 or 15 people in, I'm going to close the cart. It's not even a full, it's not like an open launch kind of thing, but I'm going to close it for more people coming in because again, it's just going to be intimate. It's going to be kind of like we did today, but all specific to marketing. And then in addition to the six-part series, you'll get replays. We have my VA is creating, if you've ever bought anything from me, like a class or a course or even the starter kit, you know, we have that customer hub. We are creating a place in that hub where all the replays and any resources will be housed. So you'll have access to that for as long as, like, for lifetime. So you'll be able to, all the replays will be in there. So if you can't attend everything, all the replays will be in there for you. And then as part of your cost for enrolling, you'll also get a ticket to the fully booked live experience that's going to happen October 23rd in community, all of us together live in a conference room. It's in a beautiful area in Bucks County. I've done live events before, and you'll get a ticket to come live and be in community and connect with so many other people in the industry as part of my community. So you get a ticket to attend that for free. And then I'm also adding in, it's a workshop class that I've been working on that ties in the aura, the energetics, law of attraction of attraction marketing so that we can look at everything that you're doing from the core element of attraction versus trying to sell. Um, so anybody who is interested, so I know a couple of you said you're interested. Um, let's see, Janet, Lisa, okay, Alejandra, Melanie. I'm writing your names down because this is literally imperfect action. Um, Monica, you are a member of Fully Booked Business Club, so you get it for free. You get all of it for free. You get the summer series, you get the ticket to the Fully Booked Live experience, you get the heart centered marketing framework class, you get all of that. You don't have to pay for any of that. Lamar, you too. Suzanne, you too. Is there a discount? Vicky, yes, there will be a discount on the rooms for the event in October. I already have that in the works. I just told my contact at where we're going to have it that I'll nail down all the details and I'll get the link and the details and everything from him when I get back from Paris. So in the next couple weeks, as soon as I get back, that's one of the first things that I'm going to be nailing down. So we will have a room block for that. Yep. Marjana, yep, you're included. You're a member of Fully Booked. Tiara, this was inspirational. Thank you. You're so welcome. Lisa, where is Bucks County? I am in Canada. Michelle has got it. Pennsylvania. Yes, it's about 45 minutes north of Philadelphia. So that gives you a pretty, and you can train planes and automobiles in there. We've had multiple people from Canada come. Some people have driven down from Canada if you're on the East Coast. Some people have flown in. Yes, Bucks County, PA. Yeah. So again, it's like if you look up Newtown, Pennsylvania or New Hope, Pennsylvania, that's kind of like the general, that'll give you like the general area. That's the part of Pennsylvania. So, and let's see, I have Yasmin. And then I will be Janet and Lori. Okay, let's see. Is there anybody else? Monica said, Wahoo! Yes. Yes, there will be a replay today. I'm going to put it up and then I'm going to have it actually go live out on the YouTube channel so the people who couldn't be here with us can watch it. Um, but for those of you that were here live, I think just being in the energy with each other was hopefully a great experience for you. Yes, Kwana, you are included. Uh, let's see. You're so welcome, Latanya. Lamar, thank you. Okay. All right. So amazing, Tara. Go take care of those clients. Lisa said, looking forward to the summer series. Okay. All right. Any other questions about the summer series or how it's going to run or anything before we wrap up? And then I will be, as soon as I'm done this, I'm going to check in with my VA. Like I said, she's working on like a simple page for everyone, and then I will personally send the link out to you. So the early bird pricing is $497, and then there's also going to be a two-pay option that you can pick. So it's $497 pay in full or a two-pay of $250, and then you'll have the summer series, the heart-led marketing framework that has to do with law of attraction, and it's built in human design too. So excited about teaching that. And then you'll also have the ticket to come to the fully booked live experience in October, all included in your $497. Plus, you'll have the replays and access to that in the hub also. Oh, thank you, Melanie. The lighting is terrible, but and it is hot AF up in here. Let me tell y'all. Michelle binged Richard Rudd the other day. Oh, I love me some Richard Rudd. He has such good energy. Um, if I have not yet started my business yet, can I join the summer series? 100% yes. Yes, 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 yes. Because this is literally like if I was starting over from scratch, what I'm going to be teaching you all and helping you do is things that like again, if I was starting a brand new business tomorrow from scratch, this is exactly how I would do it. So you don't have to have started yet because the starting stuff, here's the thing that we get mixed up sometimes is the starting stuff is usually like the website, the LLC, the business cards, right? Like you don't need those things in place to start talking about what it is that you're doing. So most people do those things first, and then it just delays the actual interaction of connecting with real people about what it is that you want to do. Oh, thank you, Monica. Latanya, how is the two-pay set up? The two-pay, when you get, when I send you the link, Latanya, if you want to join us when I send you the link, you'll choose the two-pay and the first payment is due like when you join, you'll click it and your first payment will process. And then the second payment is 30 days later. So that's probably what you were asking about specifically. So it's like payment number one, 30 days later is payment number two. Right? So Latanya, do you want me to send you the link too? Because again, I'm literally capping it out once we have 10, maybe 15 people tops. Just let me know and I'll send you the link also. Grab some water. Okay. And then, so anybody else have any other questions? Okay. All right, Latanya. Any other questions about, yes, I will definitely send you the link, Janet. Any other questions about that? And then I want us to like wrap up the call. So if there's any other questions about that, drop them in the chat. And then I would love, go ahead, Alejandra, your last question. And while you're typing that, I'm going to give you all your next step. And my lighting is getting worse right now. Is what is your plan that you're going to do over the next 30 to 90 days? What is going to shift and change that you are actively going to do and implement over the next 30 to, I said 60, I meant 30 to 90 days. Because again, what you do and what you're working on now between now and the next 90 days is going to result in your fourth quarter. What time is going to be the summer series? So I'm still working on the exact schedule and I'll have that out soon. But the calls will all be because I'm based in Europe. Yeah, the time zone is crazy. But you'll always have access to the replays also. So I wouldn't necessarily let the time zone hold you back, even if like you can like, interestingly enough, so Fully Booked Business Club, our calls are 4 p.m. Eastern time in that group. And I was not about to, so I'm in Europe now, for 6 weeks. I did not want to change their call time because it's our consistent call each and every Thursday. So I was coaching at 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock at night. But I decided that ahead of time. I decided that my coaching hours with my clients and the time zone were not going to be an issue. So even if you can't, if it's hard to readjust for 6 live calls, maybe you just commit to yourself that I am going to commit to show up live for 3 of them, no matter what. And that's how we make decisions for ourselves. Okay. All right. So go ahead in the chat and what is like your next action step that you're going to take within the next 30 days? Mm, yeah, Lisa. Yeah. We have East Coast too. East Coast too. Like I'll do a 10 a.m. and people are on at 7 a.m. Yeah. We do things, we don't do things because they're convenient. We do things because we're committed. It's that simple. Vicky, you're going to reach out to your chamber. Nice. And then I want you to post it inside the group. As a matter of fact, I want it done today before you have your coaching call tomorrow. Okay? Launch my business, Latanya, launch my business and attend a networking event. Okay. Awesome. What else? Who else? What are you going to do in the next 30 days? What's going to be your next action item? I have 2 one-on-one on my calendar, getting on more networking and going on. Yes. Suzette, get my butt busy. Yes, but I want you to get your butt busy strategically, right? Strategic busyness, not like overwhelm busyness. Go to some meetup groups and put up a few flyers. Yeah, so Quana, I would love for you to even get more specific with that. I'm going to hang 10 flyers. Like pick a number. This way you can celebrate yourself for doing the thing. When you say put up a few, we never know how to celebrate ourselves for that. Because there's no like tipping point. Getting myself out there, contact the chamber, talk to people live, add to my 3 clients. Nice. Janet, I'm just going to start the business. I have many doubts and maybe study your videos. Yes, Quanta, 10 flyers. Perfect. Now you'll be able to celebrate when you hit that 10 flyers. And even if you do 8, you'll be like, wow, I got really close to that 10. I set a random goal. Sometimes I set random goals literally just for funsies. Literally, I'll just set a goal. So it was in the middle of May. I set a goal. I was like, I want to sell 30 books this month. And I had my start date as May 13th. On June 13th, I had sold 24 or 25 books. Just for funsies. I didn't beat myself up because I didn't sell 30. I was like, look at that. I set a random goal to sell 30 books. And look how close I got. 8 flyers and drop off 20 newsletters I created to businesses around town. This is my monthly goal. Sweet. Alejandra, start reading your books. Sweet. Marjana, 3 one-to-ones with my reflexology trainers and implement knowledge to my patients. Sweet. So get real specific with that, right? Like, what is implement knowledge? What does that mean? I know you're just putting it like here for us, but I want you to get real specific for yourself. All right, my friends. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Believe it or not, I am looking forward. I am loving my time in Paris. There's so many things that I love about Paris. I also had a very, very, very bumpy ride the first 2 weeks, first 2.5 weeks. I won't go into all the details. We can have that discussion over a seltzer and a beer one day. But it was very bumpy in the beginning. I've settled into my rhythm here. I love it. My husband comes on Thursday. I'm really looking forward to that because I'm going to drag his ass all over Paris. And I'm also simultaneously like looking forward to like getting back home and getting back to business. Um, I love my business so much. I love my clients so much. And literally, when I'm away from it too long, I literally feel like I'm missing a part of myself. And that's almost like the business I want you all to have. It'll be different for each of you, what that actually feels like. But that's what it feels like to me. To me is me being like, I miss my people. I want to be on with my people. I want to talk to my people. I want to have something that I'm working towards. I want to have problems. I don't want to say I want to have problems that I'm solving, but I like to have things to rise to the challenge of, because that actually, part of that actually feeds me and it feeds my soul. That if I am not working on or towards something, life can actually feel boring. So, because I love what I do so much. All right. So, for all of you that said you were interested, I will be sending you a link within the next couple hours. Um, Sign up right away. This way you can lock in because we are going to cap it. Again, I'm not doing a big, huge, I'm going to send a few emails out about it for people who might be interested. And we had a couple people already a little bit interested, but I'm not doing a big full-on launch. This is more of a, hey, I'm doing this anyway. Would you like to come jump in with us for 10 weeks? I think it would be really fun for a lot of you. All right, my friends, thank you for being here with me. It was so good to see your faces and to connect with you all because it is literally one of my purest joys that I get to do this every day. All right, mwah. See you all back on the PA side in a couple weeks. All right, bye.